The galaxy had been silent for a long time. The great civilizations, spread across thousands of star systems, had settled into an uneasy peace. No major wars, no great discoveries, just the slow passage of time among the stars. The Intergalactic Council, made up of leaders from the most powerful alien races, met regularly on the neutral planet of Vereen to discuss trade, borders, and old alliances. Life was calm, almost too calm, but everything changed on one quiet day. It started as a small, strange signal, a weak transmission caught by one of the deep space listening stations near the edge of known space. The station's operators first thought it was just static, the usual noise of the universe. But as they cleaned up the data, something unusual appeared. A message encrypted in a way no alien species had seen before. The signal was old, ancient even, but somehow still strong enough to reach across the stars. When the source of the message was tracked, it shocked everyone. The signal had come from Earth. Earth was a forgotten name in the galaxy. Centuries ago, humans had tried to reach for the stars. They had sent ships, messages, and explorers into space. But after a few decades of contact, all communication stopped. No one knew what happened to them. Many believed Earth had destroyed itself, like so many other young civilizations. Others thought natural disasters or alien invasions had wiped them out. Over time, humanity became nothing more than a distant memory, a name in old records. Now the humans had returned, or at least their signal had. The council quickly gathered. The most intelligent minds and most powerful leaders sat in a large round hall. The air was tense. The message had been translated and played before them. It was simple. 4 words, spoken in a deep, calm voice. We are coming. Prepare. No explanation. No introduction. Just those words, repeated over and over. The counselors exchanged worried glances. What did it mean? Was it a threat? A warning? A promise? They had no way of knowing. The signal was old, but its arrival now could not be a coincidence. Rumors spread quickly across the galaxy. News channels, pirate broadcasters, and travelers shared the story. Some believed Earth had risen again, stronger than ever. Others whispered that it was not really humans behind the message, but something else using their name. Fear and curiosity spread faster than light. On the council floor, debates became heated. The Olorans, a reptilian species known for their military strength, demanded immediate action. They wanted to send fleets to Earth's last known location and crush any possible threat. The Eldari, a wise and ancient race with glowing skin, urged caution. They believed it was necessary to understand before attacking. Other races, smaller but still powerful, had mixed opinions. Some wanted to ignore the signal, thinking it was a trick or old data drifting through space. While they argued, another report arrived. A massive object had appeared near the outer rim of the galaxy. It was moving fast, too fast for normal ships. The readings showed it was not an asteroid or a comet. It was a ship, a warship of enormous size, bigger than any vessel the Council fleets had ever built. Its design was unfamiliar, dark, sharp, and cold like metal, but somehow organic too. It did not match any known species technology. Its direction was clear. It was heading straight for the center of the galaxy, towards Vereen. Panic spread through the Council. Some members left to prepare their defenses. Others stayed, frozen with fear. The ship's arrival confirmed their worst fears. Whether it was humans or something else, whoever controlled that ship had power beyond their understanding. From the warship, a second message was broadcast across all known systems. The same voice as before spoke again. Calm, deep, and emotionless. We are not your enemies. We come to offer a warning. The message repeated on every channel, in every language. The Council had no choice now. They had to face whatever was coming. Ships were mobilized, defense systems activated, and alliances tested. Yet in the back of every leader's mind was the same question. How did humans, long forgotten and thought to be weak, return with such force? What had happened on Earth in all those lost centuries? On distant planets, ordinary citizens looked to the skies. Traders, farmers, soldiers, and workers all wondered about the same thing. Who were the humans now? Were they saviors, conquerors, or something much worse? The warship continued its steady path, unstoppable and silent. No attacks, no further communication, just the promise of its arrival. In space, time feels slow. But for the galaxy, everything was moving too fast. No one was ready. As the stars blinked and shifted, a new chapter of galactic history was about to begin. The return of humanity was not just a mystery, it was a challenge. A test of the galaxy's strength, unity, and courage. Whatever the humans had become, they were coming. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The warship moved like nothing anyone had seen before. Across the edge of the galaxy, it glided through the stars without slowing down, its black metal surface reflecting no light. It looked more like a shadow than a ship. Some called it a ghost. Others called it death itself. The sensors of many races tried to scan it, but every attempt failed. Their signals bounced off, vanished, or gave back wrong data. It was as if the ship chose what others could see, and it had chosen to stay hidden. The Council's fleets gathered quickly. Dozens of warships from different civilizations rushed to the ship's path. Their captains were nervous but ready to fight. The Olorans sent their largest battle cruisers. The Eldari brought their glowing energy frigates. Even smaller empires sent their fastest attack ships. A wall of ships, weapons armed, blocked the warship's approach. They had one message: stop or be destroyed. But the human warship did not stop. It slowed only a little, then began to move around the blockade in a smooth, impossible arc. Its speed changed instantly. One moment it drifted slowly like a drifting moon. The next it flashed forward faster than light. The Council's fleets opened fire. Beams of plasma, missiles, and energy blasts shot towards the warship. The sky lit up with the colors of battle, but nothing touched it. Every weapon missed, as if the ship knew where every attack would land before it happened. On the command decks of the Council ships, panic grew. Generals shouted orders. Pilots tried to lock their targets again and again. Nothing worked. The human ships slid between them with ease, making their weapons and ships look like toys. It did not fire back. No weapons appeared on its surface. It only moved forward, unharmed and untouched. Inside the Council's chambers on Vereen, the leaders watched in silence. The battle reports flashed across their screens. Losses were already high, though not because of attacks, but from ships colliding, overloading, or simply falling apart in confusion. This was not just power, it was control. The warship's pilots, whoever they were, could predict everything. Then, without warning, the warship stopped. It hovered just outside Vereen's orbit. From its surface, a beam of soft blue light stretched towards the planet. It was not a weapon. Instead, it carried a message. Once again, across every system, on every channel, in every language, the voice returned. We are not your enemies. We come to offer a warning. This time, the voice continued. For the first time in centuries, humans spoke directly to the galaxy. Long ago, we disappeared from your skies. You thought us weak, lost, or dead. But we survived. In the silence, we changed. We grew. We watched. Now, we return, not to conquer, but to prepare you. The Council members leaned closer to their screens. Every word dropped like a heavy stone in their minds. There is something coming, older than your Council, older than your empires. It wiped us out once. It will wipe you out next. We bring knowledge, not war. We bring truth, not lies. But if you strike again, we will defend ourselves, and we will not lose. The message ended. The blue beam disappeared. The warship remained still, waiting. The Council's fleets, broken and scattered, slowly pulled back. Their commanders, confused and afraid, sent messages back home. Some asked for more ships. Others wanted to surrender. Most just wanted answers. In the council chamber, the arguments began again. The Olurans, angry and humiliated, wanted to attack again, this time with all their forces. They shouted that the humans were lying, using fear to gain power. The Eldari, calm but serious, asked for peace talks. They believed the human story and feared what this ancient threat might be. The smaller empires were split. Some wanted war, others wanted to join the humans, hoping to share their power. While the leaders fought with words, billions across the galaxy watched the human ship. On colony worlds, people gathered in city squares, staring at the sky. On space stations, travelers stopped to listen to the message replaying again and again. Fear mixed with hope. What if the humans were right? What if something worse was coming? The warship made no more moves. It waited, silent, patient, like a predator or a protector. No one knew which one yet. On Earth, wherever it was now, something powerful had risen. The humans had become something no one could have predicted. Their old weakness was gone. They had returned with secrets, technology, and a warning that no one understood fully. For the galaxy, the choice was clear but heavy. Trust the humans, or fight them. Listen to their warning, or ignore it. But one thing was already certain. Nothing would ever return to the calm silence of before. Inside Alric's ship, the crew worked in silence, their faces focused and calm. They moved like one mind, their connection to their ship deep and clear. Alric's hands danced over his controls, guiding the vessel through the thickest enemy waves. Ahead, the core ship's surface opened. The dark tunnel yawned wide, glowing red from within. Without slowing, Alric's strike force dove inside. The tunnel walls shifted and twisted, like the inside of a living creature. Strange lights flickered. Alien machines and shadow creatures lunged from the sides, but the human ships were too fast. They blasted forward, dodging and weaving through the dark passageways. At last, they reached the core. It was a massive sphere floating in the center of a vast chamber. Red energy pulsed across its surface, lightning flashing outward to feed the entire ship. Tendrils stretched into the walls, linking the mind of the swarm together. The heart of the enemy. Alric's voice echoed through the strike force. This is it. All ships, fire everything you have. Missiles, energy beams, and plasma blasts tore into the core. It shuddered and twisted, shrieking sounds filling the chamber. The tendrils flailed wildly, dark energy crackling. The core ship reacted, its walls closing in, sending waves of defenders to stop the attack. Alric remained calm. Keep firing. Do not stop. His flagship charged straight toward the core, shields glowing bright blue. The ship slammed into the sphere, drilling deep into its surface. Inside, machines and alien veins snapped and burst. Red energy flared wildly. Commander Alric opened one last channel to the Allied fleets. We have reached the heart. Prepare for collapse. Hold your lines. Inside the core ship, alarms screamed. The core cracked open, red light pouring out like fire. The human strike ships unleashed their final attacks, emptying every weapon into the heart. Then, a massive explosion shook the void. The core ship tore apart, its walls splitting and shattering. A shockwave of blue and red energy rippled outward, spreading across the entire swarm. Across the battlefield, enemy ships froze mid-movement. Their dark surfaces cracked and crumbled. One by one, they broke apart, drifting lifeless into space. On the Allied command station, the Council leaders watched in stunned silence. Across their sensors, the enemy forces collapsed in seconds. The war was over. But as the dust settled, there was one question in every mind. Had Commander Alric survived? The battlefield had fallen silent. Where once there was fire, movement, and chaos, now only drifting debris floated in the dark. Fragments of black enemy ships, torn and crumbling, spun slowly through empty space. The Allied fleets, though battered and scarred, still held their formation. Their ships' lights flickered softly, steady once more. On the Allied command station, the Council leaders stared at their displays. Sale of the Eldari spoke first, his voice soft and heavy. "It is over." The humans had arrived, and the galaxy could only guess what would happen next. The warship stayed still in orbit above Varine. Days passed, but it made no move. No weapons appeared. No more messages came. Across the galaxy, the feeling of fear began to change into curiosity. What did the humans want? Why did they return after so long with such power, but choose not to attack? The Council had no answers. Finally, the humans sent a new message. This one was different. It was not a broadcast to the entire galaxy. It was private, sent only to the Council leaders. The voice was calm and clear. They invited the Council's highest members to board the warship. The humans promised no harm, but made it clear, if they wanted to understand, they must come and see for themselves. It was a hard decision. Some leaders refused right away, saying it was a trap. But others, especially the Eldari, knew they could not ignore the offer. In the end, a small group of brave leaders agreed to go. They were carefully chosen, one from each major civilization, trusted by their people and skilled in diplomacy. They left Varine on a sleek, silver ship. As they flew towards the human warship, millions across the galaxy watched in silence, holding their breath. When they arrived, the warship welcomed them. Its surface opened like a flower, revealing a landing bay full of soft blue light. Their ship was guided inside by invisible forces. There were no soldiers waiting, no weapons pointed at them. Instead, the place felt empty, quiet, almost peaceful. The delegates stepped out of their ship. The air inside was strange, cool, clean, and filled with a soft hum. The walls were smooth and dark, metal but also alive somehow. Lights moved along the floor like rivers of energy. It was clear this ship was beyond anything the galaxy's best engineers had built. Technology and design far ahead of their time. Then the humans appeared. They looked similar to the old images and records of Earth's people. 2 arms, 2 legs, upright, human faces. But there was something different about them. Their skin shimmered slightly, like light danced just under its surface. Their eyes were bright, deep, and sharp, as if they could see more than normal sight allowed. Their movements were smooth and controlled. They were calm, but powerful. The leader of the humans stepped forward. He introduced himself simply as Commander Alric. His voice was the same one that had spoken in all the messages, deep, clear, patient. He welcomed the delegates and thanked them for their bravery. Without wasting time, he offered to show them the truth. They walked through long halls, quiet and shining. As they moved, holograms appeared around them. These were images of Earth's past. The delegates watched as scenes unfolded, cities burning, skies blackened, oceans boiling. A war long ago had destroyed the surface of Earth, but deep under the ground, humans had survived. And they have found something. In the deepest parts of their planet, buried for millions of years, there had been ancient technology. Far older than humans, maybe older than any race in the galaxy. The humans studied it, learned from it, and rebuilt their world. Over centuries, they merged their minds and bodies with the technology. They grew stronger, smarter, and faster. They became something new, not fully human anymore, but not fully machine either. Commander Alaric explained that they had not contacted the galaxy before because they were not ready. But now, they had returned because the ancient enemy that once destroyed their world was waking up again, and it would not just target Earth this time. It would come for the entire galaxy. The delegates listened carefully. Some were amazed. Some were afraid. The humans had not just advanced. They had jumped far ahead. They controlled technologies that seemed like magic. Machines that could rebuild planets, weapons that could stop time, ships that could travel without moving. Yet, despite their power, The humans had not attacked anyone. They had come to warn. As the tour ended, Commander Alric led them to a great window. It showed the warship's engine core. Floating inside was a massive glowing sphere, pulsing with energy. Alric explained that it was not only the heart of the ship, but also a living mind, a fusion of human intelligence and alien machine. The ship itself could think, learn, and protect. The message was clear. If the Council wanted to survive the coming threat, they needed the humans. Alone, no single civilization had enough power. But together, there was hope. The delegates were silent as they returned to their ship. Their minds were full of visions of Earth's rise, the danger ahead, and the power they had just witnessed. They knew one thing for sure. If they ignored the humans, they would be making the biggest mistake in galactic history. General Kor crossed his thick arms. His usual hard face now showed something like wonder. I never thought we would see this day. They all knew what had happened. The enemy had been destroyed in a single stroke. The core ship's death had shattered the swarm's link, exactly as Commander Alric had said. Across every system, reports confirmed the same thing. The invaders were gone. But one question still sat heavy in their hearts. What of Alric and his strike force? For long minutes, the command station scanned the ruins of the core ship. Nothing moved. The area where Alric's ships had dived in was just a field of broken metal and burned-out energy. No signals, no life signs, just silence. Sale lowered his eyes. They gave everything for this victory. Before anyone could answer, a sharp beep echoed through the station. A technician spun around from his console, eyes wide. Signal detected, small ship, human signature. It's coming out of the debris. All screens snapped to life. From the wreckage, a single ship emerged. Its hull was cracked and blackened, but its engines glowed faintly blue. Slowly, it drifted toward the Allied fleets. Inside the human flagship's bridge, Commander Alric stood tall, his black armor scorched and his face marked by the strain of battle. But he was alive. His calm gaze met the camera as he sent a message to all. The heart is broken. The swarm is finished. We are coming home. Across the command station, across every Allied ship, a wave of relief swept over the crews. Some cheered, some wept, others simply sat in quiet awe. Against all odds, they had won. Together. A few hours later, the surviving fleets gathered near a quiet star system. Damaged ships docked for repairs. Wounded soldiers were cared for. And on a grand platform aboard the Allied station, leaders from every civilization met one last time. Commander Alric stood before them, surrounded by his surviving officers. His presence was as calm as ever, but for the first time, a small smile touched the corner of his mouth. Sale stepped forward and bowed slightly, the Eldary's glowing form soft and graceful. On behalf of the Council and the galaxy, we thank you, Commander. Without you and your people, none of us would have survived. Alric nodded. His voice was quiet but strong. We did not do this alone. None of us could have won alone. General Kor rumbled, stepping forward next. His heavy boots echoed on the platform. The humans returned to a galaxy that feared them. Yet you offered us alliance instead of war. You gave us trust. We will not forget that. From across the gathered leaders, voices rose in agreement. Years of old rivalries, suspicion, and mistrust had fallen away. On this day, the galaxy stood as one. Alric's gaze moved across them all. The enemy is gone, but the lesson remains. Divided, we nearly fell. Together, we rose. My people have spent centuries preparing for this war, but now it is time to build again. Together. The Council voted quickly, without argument. A new alliance was formed that day. Not just a temporary treaty for war, but a lasting union of civilizations. Humans were welcomed not as outsiders, but as equals. In the months that followed, human technology and knowledge spread to every corner of the galaxy. Worlds that once feared Earth now opened their doors. Trade flourished, and broken colonies rebuilt faster than anyone thought possible. Commander Alric and his fleet returned to Earth. The planet, long silent and scarred, was reborn as the center of the new alliance. Where once there had been ruin, new cities rose, great towers of glass and energy, blending human and alien designs. The stars, once distant and dangerous, became pathways of peace. But even as peace returned, the memory of the war remained clear. On every world, a single monument was built, a black and blue statue of humans and aliens standing side by side, looking to the stars together, etched in simple words below. United, we stood when the void came. United, we remain. As years passed, legends of the battle spread, stories of the time when the galaxy almost fell. But humanity, unexpected and underestimated, led the way to victory. And far above, in the endless dark, new explorers set out together. No longer afraid, they knew now. The galaxy had changed forever, and it had never expected this from humans. Plasma cannons, missile salvos, and laser beams cut through space. The first lines of Oloran battle cruisers took heavy damage but held firm. Eldari energy frigates fired shimmering bolts that tore through the black ship's shields. Human war drones zipped between enemy vessels, planting charges that exploded with blinding flashes. Commander Alric's flagship moved calmly through the chaos. His voice gave clear orders, guiding ships with perfect timing. Gyre flank left. Eldari, reinforce Sector 4. Human drone wing, clear the rear channel. The enemy pressed hard, but they had not expected such unity. For hours, the battle raged. Space burned with light and fire. Ships exploded and fell, but neither side broke. Then, in the distance, the core ship appeared. It was massive, bigger than moons, a dark sphere covered in writhing shapes and pulsing veins of red energy. It moved slowly but with purpose, pulling the rest of the swarm behind it. Commander Alric's eyes narrowed. He tapped his comm. All units, prepare for the main strike. The heart of the enemy is here. The final part of the battle was about to begin. The true test had come. The core ship moved like a living mountain through space. Its surface rippled and pulsed, red veins glowing brighter as it drew closer to the heart of the battle. Around it, thousands of black swarm ships gathered, shielding it from attack. They locked together, forming thick walls of living metal, an unstoppable wall pressing toward the Allied fleets. On the command deck of the human flagship, Commander Alric stood still, eyes locked on the display in front of him. His voice broke through the comms, calm and sharp. The core ship is within range. All fleets, move into strike formation. This is our only chance. Across the stars, the Allied fleets responded. The Eldari frigates slid to the sides, their glowing ships forming a long arc. The Oloran cruisers pushed forward in a wedge, their thick armor ready to take the brunt of the enemy's attack. The Gyre swarm fighters, small, fast ships like metal insects, darted to the flanks, ready to pierce weak spots. The human fleet hovered above and behind, their strange, silent ships waiting for Alric's signal. Inside every ship, crews braced themselves. The battle had already cost them dearly. Ships drifted, broken and burning, across the battlefield. Thousands had fallen, but the line still held. Commander Alric opened a private channel to the council leaders. Their faces appeared on his screen, tired but focused. "We have one shot," he said. "Our scans show the core ship's link center is deep inside here." He pointed to the glowing core on the map. "I will lead a strike force into the heart. If we destroy it, we cut their connection, and their forces will collapse. But I need the rest of you to hold the swarm back long enough for us to reach it." General Core's deep voice rumbled through the comm. "We will not break." Sail of the Eldari nodded softly. "Go, Commander. We will give you the time you need." Without another word, Alric gave the order. A small group of ships broke away from the human fleet, sleek black vessels surrounded by shimmering blue light. They moved faster than anything else in the battle, slipping between enemy lines like shadows. This was the human strike team, designed for speed and precision. Commander Alric's flagship led the way. As they approached the core ship, the enemy forces tightened. More black ships poured in to block their path. The Allied fleets sprang into action. Oleran cruisers slammed into the enemy lines, firing plasma cannons in Y-arcs. Eldari frigates unleashed waves of energy that tore through swarms of smaller ships. The Xer fighters darted through gaps, blasting holes in the dark walls. Human drones flickered in and out of sight, planting explosives and opening paths for Alric's strike force. The battle reached its peak. The sky was filled with fire and broken metal. Ships exploded in flashes of blue and red. Yet still, the Allied forces held their ground. As their ship left the warship and returned to Vereen, the galaxy waited for their decision. Would they trust the humans and unite, or would old fears and rivalries tear them apart? Above them all, the human warship floated silently, patient and powerful, like a shadow waiting for the storm to come. The delegates returned to Vereen with heavy hearts and sharp minds. They had seen what no one else in the galaxy had seen. The truth about Earth, about the humans, and about the danger that was coming. As they landed on the Council's surface, they carried more than just knowledge. They carried a choice that would decide the future of all life. The Council chamber was full again. Leaders from every corner of the galaxy waited for answers. The room buzzed with quiet voices, fear, doubt, and hope mixed in the air. When the delegates walked in, all voices fell silent. Everyone leaned forward, waiting. The Eldari delegate, Sale, spoke first. His glowing skin shimmered softly as he explained what they had seen. He described Earth's fall and rise, the discovery of ancient alien technology, and the humans' transformation. He spoke of Commander Alric and his calm morning. Every word landed heavily in the hearts of the leaders. Then the Oleran delegate, General Kor, took the floor. His voice was deep and sharp. He did not hide the truth. He admitted that the humans were powerful, far more powerful than any of their empires. But he also said something else. The humans had not lied. They had not attacked. They had simply shown what was real. The council broke into argument again. Some leaders shouted that they must prepare for the unknown threat and work with the humans. Others still feared a trap. Old rivalries rose fast. Alliances cracked. Accusations flew across the chamber like arrows. While they fought, far from Vereen, in the dark spaces of the galaxy, things began to change. At the edge of known space, deep in the cold emptiness, strange signals started to appear. Ships and outposts along the rim went silent, one after another. Scouts were sent to check. None returned. Merchant ships passing through distant star systems sent emergency messages before vanishing into static. Slowly, piece by piece, an invisible force spread into their galaxy. Back on Vereen, a sudden message broke into the council chamber. It was a live feed from a border colony. The screen crackled with static, but the image was clear enough. The dark sky, broken buildings, floating shapes moving across the land. They were like shadows given form. Black, shifting creatures with no clear edges, like smoke and steel twisted together. They tore through ships, buildings, and beings alike, leaving only ruin. A single voice crackled through the static, weak and full of fear. "They're here." Then the feed went dead. The chamber went silent. No one spoke. No one moved. The threat was no longer a story from the humans. It was real, and it had arrived. The ancient enemy that had wiped out Earth long ago was now at their doorstep. Within moments, messages from other systems poured in. Similar attacks, similar disappearances. The galaxy was under invasion, and they were not ready. The Eldari stood again. Sale's voice was clear and urgent. He called on the council to forget their arguments. The enemy would not care about their old fights. Their only hope was to join forces, with each other and with the humans. This time, fewer voices rose in protest. Fear had cut through pride. Within hours, emergency plans began. Fleets were gathered. Armies were called. The Council sent a message to the human warship. They agreed to an alliance. Commander Alric responded quickly. His voice was steady, but urgent. "You have chosen wisely. Send your fleets to these coordinates. We will meet and begin preparations. The enemy moves faster than you think." The Council followed the instructions. Ships from every civilization began to travel to a point near the galactic center. For the first time in thousands of years, old enemies flew side by side. As the Allied fleets gathered, the human warship arrived first. It did not come alone. From the depths of space, other human ships emerged. Each one was different, shapes and sizes never seen before. Some looked like floating cities, others like sharp, endless spears. Some were small and fast, like shadows darting through light. Their designs mixed metal and energy in ways the Council's scientists could barely understand. It was clear. The humans had not come alone. They had brought a fleet powerful enough to match the old legends. When the fleets met, Commander Alric addressed all leaders at once. His voice echoed across every ship and station. "We have little time. Your enemy does not fight like you. It consumes, spreads, and changes everything it touches. If we stand apart, it will crush us one by one. But together, we can make a stand it has never faced before." He paused. "We will show it something it has forgotten. We will show it what happens when the galaxy fights back." Across the stars, the ships prepared for war. On every world, people held their breath. Soldiers loaded weapons, engineers powered up engines, and leaders made final plans. The galaxy had made its choice. The humans had returned, not as conquerors, but as allies. Now, the true war was about to begin. The enemy was coming fast. But this time, humanity was ready. The Allied fleets gathered near the galactic center, forming a circle of warships that stretched across light years of space. Ships from every civilization floated side by side. The glowing energy frigates of the Eldari, the heavy battle cruisers of the Olorans, the sleek attack vessels of the Jur Collective, and many more. Their colors and shapes were different, but their goal was the same. They had never fought together before, but now they had no choice. The human fleet stood at the center. Their ships were silent and smooth, built with designs that looked more like living things than machines. Their surfaces shimmered faintly, as if bending space itself. Commander Alric's flagship hovered calmly, larger than any other vessel around it. It looked like a mountain carved from black glass, its energy core pulsing deep inside. On the Allied command station, a large circular room built to host all leaders, the Council met with Commander Alric in person. His figure stood tall and calm as always, wearing simple black armor laced with glowing blue lines. His face showed no fear, but his eyes were sharp and serious. He spoke to all of them at once, using the small translator device at his side. His voice was smooth, cutting through the heavy air. "The enemy spreads faster than we hoped. Our scouts have confirmed that in less than 12 cycles, it will reach this position. We have that much time to prepare. Less if we make mistakes." A hologram floated above the table, showing a map of the galaxy. Bright dots marked the Allied fleets. A thick black cloud crawled across the edges, spreading like ink spilled on paper. That was the enemy. Alric pointed towards the cloud. "These creatures do not fight for territory or power. They do not want resources or control. They exist to consume and infect. They change what they touch, twisting it into something like themselves. They do not stop. They do not negotiate. They do not fear death." He turned to face the leaders. "But they can be destroyed. My people learned this long ago. Too late to save Earth, but not too late to fight back. Their weakness is that they depend on their link, their hive mind. Break the connection, and their armies collapse." General Kor of the Olorans leaned forward, his thick gray armor creaking. Where is the source of their connection? Alric's expression darkened. We believe it is hidden inside what we call the core ship, a massive structure buried deep within their swarm. It moves with their forces, protected by layers of smaller ships and living shields. If we strike there, we can break their network. Sail of the Eldari, always calm, spoke next. And if we fail? Alric answered simply. If we fail, they will overrun every star system within 50 cycles. There will be no second chance. Silence filled the room. The leaders exchanged looks. Then, without more argument, they began to plan. For the next 5 days, fleets trained together. Pilots from different species shared tactics. Soldiers exchanged weapons and armor. Engineers worked night and day to upgrade ship defenses, combining alien technology with human designs. Slowly, barriers between civilizations started to weaken. Old enemies became allies. Suspicion turned into respect. The humans shared powerful tools, energy shields that could bend attacks, cloaking fields that could hide entire ships, and advanced drones that could repair vessels in mid-battle. These gifts gave the Allied fleets a better chance. Meanwhile, scouts kept watch on the growing black swarm. On the 6th day, the first sign of the enemy appeared. Across the edge of the star system, strange dark shapes blinked into view. Long, twisting ships made of black metal and shadow, with no clear front or back. They floated silently, then began moving forward, their numbers growing with every second. The alarm spread fast. All fleets to battle stations. Commander Alric's voice echoed in every ship. This is it. Hold the line. Across the stars, lights flickered as ships powered their engines and charged weapons. Soldiers locked into battle armor. Pilots sat in their cockpits, faces sharp with focus. The first wave of the enemy hit like a storm. Dark ships rushed forward, faster than light, crashing into the front lines. Their weapons were strange beams of energy that melted metal like wax. Their hulls shifted and twisted, healing almost instantly when damaged. But the Allied fleets were ready.